y'all, it's me Alex. Today I am coming at you with a review and tutorial using the Strobe Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette. I am so excited. Now, you'll know a couple years ago I did a review of the Strobe Cosmetics American Horror Story palettes. I did the Freak Show and Hotel palettes, and I think they were so wonderful. And Strobe Cosmetics has almost exclusively, no, not almost exclusively, they have exclusively done shimmer shadows, and I haven't really seen any mattes from them before, but this is their first all matte eyeshadow palette, and I'm so excited because the colors of this were right up my alley. I pre-ordered this because I was just so gosh darn excited for it. I think it is so pretty. These shadows apply beautifully. I was so excited to get this. Anyway, I'm just gonna do a review for y'all. I have 3 looks that I have filmed as well, which I think is going to be, you know, I liked how they turned out a lot. They were really easy to do. I probably could have done even more because this palette just inspires me so much, but my eyes were starting to burn from the amount of times that I have taken off and put back on eyeshadow. So yeah, this is about what I'm gonna do for now. So the cost of the palette was $35. I pre-ordered it basically when the pre-order went live, just because this was something that I didn't want to miss out on. However, the palette is permanent. It's not limited edition, so if it's something that you're interested in but you wanted to wait until the reviews came out, you don't need to worry about that at all because it's still around. And I think that this is really affordable. It's $35 for 8 eyeshadows, and I think they are so pretty. I'm trying not to just compare it with the Kat Von D Pastel Goth, but I am going to actually do that in a little bit. But this palette is basically kind of a more wearable for me version of the Kat Von D Pastel Goth. So this palette I think is really pigmented. All of the shades go on beautifully. I actually have 3 favorites that I knew were going to be favorites, 1 shade that really surprised me, and 1 that I don't care for, but to each their own. The 3 that I really like are Creep It Real, which is this nice, I don't even know, like a mint green shade. I think that is so pretty. Void, which is this beautiful matte black, and it is so intense and so wonderful. And Take a Hint, which is this bright lime green. There is 1 shade that surprised me with how much I like it, and that is Third Eye, which is this nice orange shade. And I didn't think I was gonna like it. I don't know, I just don't wear a lot of matte creamsicle type shades, but that's actually what I have on my lid, and I think it looks really nice. I'm not a super big fan of Strawberry Milk. That's what I have on my inner corner. I like that it's a pastel pink shade. For me, I would want it to be either a little bit lighter or a little bit darker, because I've noticed, I've tried using it as a lid shade and it doesn't really work for my skin tone specifically. I think if perhaps I were a tiny bit paler, I wouldn't be having that problem, or if the shade were a tiny bit darker, I wouldn't have that problem. It just kind of tends to blend into my skin tone and just make my natural skin tone look slightly pinker as opposed to having a pink shade on my eyes. So that's just kind of my one gripe with that shade, but it's not bad. I have it in my inner corner, but you'll see that in my tutorial that I did later. I did make sure that in all of my tutorials I've collectively used all 8 shades so that you get to see how they perform. So these shades are really nice. The packaging of this palette is really cute. I think that this is just the perfect aesthetic, but also the magnet is really strong. Like, you do have to kind of work to get this open, but I think that's how you know it's good quality. It has a nice little mirror. This is what the back of it looks like. It doesn't have the shades or anything on the back, but it has all of the ingredients. It is cruelty-free and vegan. Both of those are things that I just absolutely love because all of my stuff has to be cruelty-free for me. And now I'm gonna go into some swatches of these shades. So the first shade is Tombstone, which is a nice matte gray. I like to use this as a transition shade with the other shades in here. Then there's Planchette, which is a really pretty lavender. After that, there is Creep It Real, which is a pastel mint green. Then there is Cold Shoulder, which is a nice pastel baby blue. After that, there's Strawberry Milk, which is kind of a baby pink. It goes a little chalky, but there you go. Then there's Take a Hint, which is this bright neon lime green. After that, there's Void, which is the blackest matte black I've ever seen in my life. And finally, there's Third Eye, which is this orange dreamsicle type shade. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a little bit of comparisons with the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette. The Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette came out about a year ago, so these are about a year apart. And I did really like this when it first came out. I still use it. I really like Skull and I love Star. Like, all of these shades are really good. There's objectively, to me, nothing wrong with this palette. However, I find that this palette gives me a bit more inspiration. I find that the Creepy Cute palette gives me a little more inspiration than the Pastel Goth. And for me, I think it's just because this works a bit better with my skin tone, whereas the Pastel Goth is a little bit more muted than the Creepy Cute. The colors are a bit more vibrant, save for Star, the bright yellow shade. So I think these palettes can actually pair pretty well. There are a couple shades that might have a little bit of overlap. Clementine, the orange shade from Pastel Goth, and Third Eye look very similar. Clementine, I think, is a little bit lighter, whereas Third Eye is a bit brighter. Dope and Planchette kind of overlap, but I think Dope is definitely more cool toned than Planchette. And then finally, Dagger and Tombstone, the two matte gray shades. Doom and Cold Shoulder are looking a little similar in this light on camera, but in person you can definitely see Doom is a bit darker. So anyway, I think that these palettes can actually work really well together because the Creepy Cute doesn't really have a matte white or any sort of like highlight shade in this, so I think that's where Pastel Goth can come in. And I think one of the things that would have made Pastel Goth more wearable to me would be to have a matte black. To me, that kind of puts the goth in Pastel Goth, just to help deepen up the shades that might otherwise be a little too muted for like my eye color and skin tone. For me, I like pastel colors. I think they're really pretty, but often for the fact that like I'm white but not super duper pale, and the fact that my eyes are a really dark brown, I don't think I can pull off pastel colors as easily as other people. So when I have like a matte black or a really dark shade to go along with all of the pastel colors, I think that works a lot better for me. I think this one is a tiny bit more vibrant and this one is more muted. For example, I was hoping for a lime green to be in this palette, and instead I got Gloom, which I surprisingly do like, but for me, I don't think it works as well in the palette, if that makes any sort of sense, because it is kind of like a mossy, muted, grayish green as opposed to a more vibrant like lime green or mint green like Take a Hint or Creep It Real. And I was also really surprised when the Pastel Goth palette came out that it didn't have any sort of pink, because to me, I think pink is an essential color in like a Pastel Goth aesthetic. I like the shades that are in it, like, don't get me wrong. Honestly, these are some of my most used shades in the palette when I go for this, but I really would have appreciated a light pink. Now, obviously, as I've said, I'm not a big fan of the pink in Creepy Cute, but that's more just because like there's not anything wrong with the pink itself. It just, to me, doesn't work as well for my skin tone. Basically, I really like the idea of pairing these two palettes together. And there's another palette that I think I'm going to be pairing this with as well, and that is also from Kat Von D. It is the Kat Von D Alchemist palette. And that's because even when I have an all matte kind of look going on, I like to have a little bit of a shimmery inner corner. Now, I'm not doing that right now because I wanted to showcase Strawberry Milk as an inner corner highlight. I think all four of these shades go beyond your traditional white inner corner highlight, and they all correspond very well with the existing shades in this palette. You could use emerald if you're doing a look with like Take a Hint or Creep It Real. You could use Blue Sapphire with Cold Shoulder. You could use Amethyst with Planchette and Pink Opal with Strawberry Milk and Third Eye. I think that this kind of goes really well with it and would provide a nice little inner corner highlight for this sort of look. So now I'm going to go into my 3 tutorials. Okay, so first I'm going to go in with my NYX HD eyeshadow primer. I've already done my base just because that would be a bit too much for me to do for 3 looks, you know? Now for my transition shade, I'm going to take Tombstone on a little crease brush and place it in my crease and just blend it out like that. I might have taken a little too much. These shadows are very, very, very pigmented. And I'm going to put a little bit more of that on the outer corner. Then I'm going to take Cold Shoulder and I'm going to put that on the center of my lid. towards the inner corner, I'm going to take Creep It Real and kind of blend it in with Cold Shoulder a bit too. And then to just kind of add a little bit more depth, I'm going to take Void very lightly, because that one is super pigmented, and place it towards the outer part of my crease. Then I'm going to take a little bit more of Tombstone and place that on the outer part of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go in with Planchette, I think that's how you pronounce it, and put that on the other part of my lower lash line. And since I don't have a highlighting shade in this palette that would really go well with this look, I am going to go in with Skull from my Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, and that's what I'm going to use in my inner corner. And also I'm going to put that on my brow bone. And I'm curling my lashes using my Ardell eyelash curler. And I will finish off the look with my Urban Decay Perversion mascara. And I'm gonna finish off this look with Marshmallow from ColourPop on my lips. And this is the finished first look. So for this look, I'm going to go a little bit more dramatic. So for my base, instead of my usual NYX HD eyeshadow primer, I'm going to go in with their Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. And I'm going to just start by applying that all over my lid. And then I'm going to kind of make it more defined by taking it on this brush from the Urban Decay Electric palette and using that to make things kind of more defined and push it out into a wing shape. And I will bring the crease up a little bit, put that out into the wing shape, and just clean up that line there. Also, just a heads up, this is gonna look really bad for a little bit simply because my eyelids crease so much that a sticky base like this doesn't work as well. It'll look fine once we actually get the pigment on, but my natural state is looking a little bit weird. So I'm going to go in with Take a Hint, and I'm going to put that towards the inner part of the base, and I'm just going to confine it to where I had put the pencil down. And I'm going to bring it out a little bit towards the middle. And then I'm going to take Void and I'm going to place that towards the outer part. And it's okay if it overlaps a little bit because we're going to blend this out. And I'm just going to take a brush that just doesn't really have a lot of pigment or anything on it and use that to blend the two together. And I'm going to kind of build Void back up because I do want this to be really dark. And now to do the same thing on the other side. I think it helps to outline it at first and then go in and fill everything in. And now I'm going to take Third Eye and I'm going to dust that along my lower lash line. And then actually for my inner corner highlight, I'm going to go in with Pink Opal from my Kat Von D Alchemist palette. And I finished off this look with the same lash curler and mascara as before, and I put my Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Lolita 2 on my lips. Okay, so now going in for my last look, I'm going to go back in with my NYX HD Eyeshadow Primer. Now for this look for my transition shade, I'm going to take a combination of Planchette and Tombstone, and I'm placing that in the crease. And of course I will blend that onto the outer part as well. And then I am going to take the shade Third Eye and place that on my lid. This is one that I really want to build up because I think it is so pretty. And then I'm going to take Void, just a tiny bit of that, and use that to deepen the outer part of my eye. And then I'm going to take Planchette and I'm going to put that along my lower lash line as well. And I'm also going to use it to really blend out the crease even more so that the purple isn't lost too much there as we deepen everything up. And then I'm going to use Strawberry Milk as my inner corner highlight. I'm going to go back into my Pastel Goth palette and put Skull on my brow bone just as a highlight. And I actually wanted to do a little bit of a wing with this look just because, I don't know, I feel like it's not quite deep enough for my eyes that I think a wing would help define things better. So I'm going to use my Kat Von D ink liner in Trooper. And so I finished off this look with some mascara, and I'm wearing my Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Suspiria on my lips. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and let me know in the comments if this is a palette that you are planning on getting. Are you more excited about it now that I've talked about it? Is it something that you think would complement your Pastel Goth palette well, or if you've missed out on the Pastel Goth palette and you're planning on getting this, anything like that? But I will see you on my next video. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!